feel kind of lousy. And I think we all feel that way. There are certain days or weeks or even months that we feel kind of in a rut and we don't know what to do. And I want to talk about it a little bit, and I want to talk about it from a very technical perspective. So what I want us to do is to try a few exercises that really help me kind of through some rough moments, you know, and it could be in a different kind of way. And I think for me as a musician, one of the things that helps the most is learning and feeling that I'm progressing. You know, if it's with technical ideas, emotional ideas, singing, piano, whatever it is that I'm trying to do and working on, if I see there is progression, I'm cool with it. Even if it's slow, as long as there is progression. So what I do want to show you guys today is a set of very technical exercises that really helped me connect and integrate the right and left hand. They're simple things, so even if you're kind of more of a beginner guitar player, it's awesome, maybe even better. Just start early, why not? And these are things that I worked on for some time, and I really see the benefit. These are simple conceptual exercises that you can do, and maybe you know some of them, but the approach I think is also extremely important. So let's dive in. 1. So people want to play fast. I understand that. I understand the idea. Sometimes there is a disconnect when we actually hold the guitar. So some of the motions themselves are pretty simple. If you come to think about it, let's say I'm just thinking like taking this shape, or just like literally a chromatic shape here, 4 notes. Like just playing that fast is not actually hard. It's this motion of, you know, literally wheeling my fingers in a sort of way, and this happens here. But somehow when the moment there is a guitar and there is a string between those two hands, everything seems more complex and more difficult. And sometimes it is not. Sometimes we need to kind of let go of our concepts and our thought that something is hard, and really to just try and give it a fair try and let our system process the information. So it's good to do it in a few ways. 1, it's like trying to do it slow, so understanding the motion. When I'm hitting the string right now, I'm literally trying to play alternate picking, so down, up, or up, down, both are fine. But the point is I'm trying to really kind of connect the idea of sound and this technical, very simple idea of chromatic scale with this motion. Later on, taking it into the music, right? So even just the motion, taking it. Oh, I wrote a little book, it's called Technique and Speed and Technique, and it's really awesome exercises to link the two hands, and that I do them actually every morning between half an hour to an hour. This is the beginning of my day, every day, and then I go to other things, but this is really great. I wanted to share it with you. I think it's awesome and it will help a lot, so you can check it out here. Thank you. Even if it's just, you know, a chromatic thing, maybe I can change directions or group it in different ways. But all these ideas are coming from sort of a sync between the right and left hand. So first of all, let's start here. We have this motion. Okay, 2. We're gonna play it in time. What we're gonna do is start at 8 notes, triplet 60, and then 6 stoplets and 30-second notes. So just to understand the motion. Again, this is 60, maybe this is way too fast, so do it in 30, 20, 40, whatever works. The point is not the number here. The point is like locking it and then pushing it in 1 BPM tomorrow. PDF. Do it. And notice that we want to be in control. So we want to really make sure that when we're playing the 60 notes, we have as much control as possible over the sound. And then what I'll start doing is, you know, find the place that's comfortable for me, maybe even go a little under and kind of see if I can do it in a, you know, through a string, for example. As you know, I'm making videos and I'm trying to create things that are helpful for you and that I also believe that are really helpful as you know, as a musician to know and understand. But I'm really curious, what are the things that actually you feel that are kind of holding you back? If you could write a comment, and I'll play some music in the background. Just take 3 seconds and write a comment. In 3 words, what are the things that you feel are holding you back that I could potentially talk about and help with? And I'm serenading. Okay, I think this is more than 3 seconds. Let's do this. So what I just did is basically taking this shape very simply, playing it again and again from each one of the notes until G and back. Usually what I do, actually I start a little lower and go all the way up and back, and I'll do it maybe even 2-3 times. It's a little bit like running. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure you can run 100 meters, but you know, let's try to run 4K and see what muscles get tired and how we can strengthen. Wow, I actually said strengthen right. Amazing. So yeah, basically just really technical, but it's pretty fun. What I started doing now is, because it's summer, just go out in the morning. If there's a little sun, it's even better. And just shed this in the sun without an amp, literally just kind of like, I can sometimes hardly hear the guitar because it's noisy, but I don't mind. I just do it and I try to focus on the motion, and it's really fun. I'll do the same thing from each one of the strings, so I'll literally take, you know, E, the A, basically like I'm starting a new group in late August. If you're interested in joining a group, it's a kind of small musical group that will talk about a lot of music. I have a lot of exercises that I prepared for this, so please check this out. You can enroll there, and I'll do a quick audition to make sure you're awesome. But don't worry, I'm sure you are. Let's do it. The third kind of level for this is basically changing direction. So if we did ascending in this way, we can do descending, right? So I can take that shape and then run it the same way. So and then ascending, descending, and descending, ascending. So basically the kind of few options, right? Ascending, descending, ascending, descending, descending, ascending. Yes. And I'll do it in each one of the strings. It takes just a couple of minutes. It's nothing crazy, but you know, you start feeling like the lock, and try to make sure you're doing it in a clean and, you know, kind of like controlled way. So I would play it with a metronome, I would play, or with a groove. Sometimes I'll also just try to see how fast I can do it just for the motion. This is actually an idea that Josh Matter, an amazing guitar player, told me. Like sometimes that he'll practice things in kind of like really fast, almost like just trying to see how fast he can go, and the guy can go pretty fast. And it's interesting because it's kind of like maybe rewiring the system, right? It's not just like, oh, I can do 60, 61, kind of pushing it a little bit and then trying to bring it into control. So trying to teach the body how it feels to play something very fast, and then trying to really gain control over the system and really locking it. So again, it's this motion, right? It's this. So I think it's easier than we think. And I know it sounds weird, but I remember when I started working on these things and with guitar, you know, trying to understand the alternate picking thing, it takes quite a while, and there's just like a little disconnect between playing a scale in, you know, here in 50 BPM or something, and then playing these ideas that are super fast. Oh, if you're feeling this video, the best way to support is Patreon. There's a PDF for this video, including a lot of PDFs for a lot of videos in the past. And yeah, thank you so much again for the support, and you can check it out. 5, chromatic scale. So the same idea with emotion, but now on a chromatic scale. Chromatic comes from the word chroma, which is color, so the colorful scale with all the colors. So this exercise, I'm still seeing it as a right hand exercise, but we start having the real music here. This is why I'm holding this drone here for us. We can hear all the colors. And again, like we talk oftentimes, I think about the notes. So even if I'm just doing this exercise slow enough, I'll really think La, si, mo, si, do, do, diez a third, la, diez, mi. So I try to tag the information, even if I'm doing something that is on the technical side, as much as I can. Alright, so the exercise itself here, we're playing the chromatic scale. We're playing all alternate picking. Just notice where I'm shifting, going here, and then I'm sliding here. That's the motion. And then when I'm descending, I'm actually doing a little different. I'm going to this F here instead of this F. So I have, so the descending from A. If I want to go back, I can slide here. That will give me this kind of sound. Just play it 3 times, because sometimes if you play something once and you kind of barely make it, you're like, it's not really in control. So I like sometimes playing even these simple exercises a few times in a row, so I really know that I got it. So when I want to use that sound or color, you know, and again, probably not use the whole scale, but just a fragment, right? Just one string, you know, when I'm playing a solo or an idea. But here the point is, like, we really want to master it as much as possible. The next step with this idea is just playing it up and down, ascending, descending, up and down the fretboard. So this is maybe a little fast, but the point is the motion. So we're moving between this chromatic scale and then descending here. Then from here I'm ascending another chromatic scale, and then going here and descending. And for me, again, a lot of things in music would have fragments of those chromatic ideas, even just right, so all these ideas, even if they're not fully chromatic, like a diminished scale or something, I can use those ideas of motion, the sync, which is, yeah, just really helpful, and I really believe in those exercises that I'm talking about. Maybe 2 more steps for this. One step is basically just playing the same chromatic idea on the lower octave. It's a little more challenging, at least for me. It's always a little harder to play the lower strings in that tempo. So I'll just kind of practice it. I'll first of all find the shape here. And try to come to peace with the shape and the motion. And it's a different feel, this versus, it's all good just trying to find and understand the actual motion that is taking place here. So I would practice this also, just this kind of low octave and trying to move up the fretboard. And the final step with this chromatic exercise that I hope you are digging, because I think it's really awesome, is just playing at 2 octaves, so basically shifting. And the challenging thing in that, right, is basically the transitioning between strings. So if you're good at this already, you're feeling good with this, and you're good at this, we're basically mixing them. So C to C would be that. sound like this. Oh, so when you're practicing it, again, the idea is that we wanna make sure we're progressing. So take a slow tempo and even write it down and say, okay, now this week I'm just staying in 30 BPM, 8 notes. Great, lock it down. And then tomorrow and then next week, do 31. Next week, 32. Maybe the week after you bump to 34. But just really little by little, teach your fingers and hands what's happening, and slowly in a period of, say 6 months or a year, you can get to a really nice tempo. And that's not a long time to really lock your two hands and get more comfortable with your technique. Let me try and take a fragment of this idea of the chromatic shape, right? Even just that. Maybe ascending, descending, so I'm thinking of A7, and then maybe I'll go to an augmented triad or something. Right, so basically, the idea of this motion allows me to imagine that sound, at least the first part of the phrase, and then I went to this augmented sound, but it doesn't matter really. What